Hey guys, the quest for the red Shishigashira, the red lion's head, is over. We've got Acer Palmatum Kurenai jishi. Guys, I'm Tim Nichols, this is my brother Matt. We're MrMaple.com. We're live on the scene here in Oregon, in Boring, Oregon, at Don Schmidt Nursery to bring you this cultivar highlight today.
Wow, you would think today's episode's brought by Red Bull, but it finally kicked in. We've got an awesome tree for you here, guys. I'm Matt. This tree is an incredible red that's really gonna bring it, especially in the spring garden. We're catching this in some really optimal spring color right now, and you can see why it is the dark red lion.
Guys, this color is just dark red to brick red in the early spring. The tight, dense, compact habit is amazing. The curling foliage that curls downward gives this a unique texture for a small dwarf for small spaces.
This is a great tree for the container garden or the landscape. I love pairing this with Shishigashira because you can get some really different textures. One thing I love about it too is the fall color. You get some unreal oranges with red and yellow, and I think that's really where it looks the most like Shishigashira's during that fall time frame. This one's gonna have much larger foliage than the Shishigashira, but it really fits in well with that aesthetic for that tight, crumpled foliage. And I really love the aesthetic this one brings. The texture is very different because of that curled down look. It really gives it a really regal, but also very dense habit to it.
Now, if you're growing Kurenai jishi in more shaded situation, it may be more green. The sun really does bring out the color, spring color on this plant. Later on in the summer, this will go to more of a green bronze, and the fall color is heavily underrated.
So this was an introduction that wasn't found by Masayoshi Yano, but Yano-san did put a name on this tree. Yano, famous for World Maple Park in Japan. A friend of his found this and asked him to name it, and Yano-san came up with Kurenai jishi. Amazing place there in Japan where he has a huge collection of maples. He actually took a school and dedicated it just to Japanese maples. So this kind of a middle school type setting has been turned into World Maple Park, and he has thousands of maples planted around this park. Kurenai jishi, an amazing introduction named by our friend Masayoshi Yano.
And Yano-san is one of the foremost experts of Japanese maples. He wrote a book that's half in Japanese, half in English. And this is a plant that he thought was worthy of a name. I mean, that says a lot about a plant. And Kurenai jishi, this is a plant that's worthy of a spot in your garden for sure. I mean, what this tree does all throughout the season is amazing. I mean, this is a plant that has a unique texture that's really gonna pop against almost any plant you pair it with. Guys, I'd pair this with a summer gold. The contrast between the spring and the summer colors and the fall colors are gonna be outstanding. An awesome plant to pair that with.
Who would have thought he would have paired this with summer gold? I wouldn't have guessed that before the video started, that Tim would have said, pair this with a yellow, much less summer gold. I've never ever heard you say to pair that with summer gold before. It's a whole new idea. I like that you're bringing something new every single video.
You know, I thought I had to bring something new to the table.
You switched it up this time. You went from summer gold to summer gold. Pair it with summer gold, guys. This will do great. I love those colors, though. It really does look great against anything because of that contrast. Now, this is a much darker, more bold red than most things in the garden. You can see some of that new growth right now tipping. It does get to more of a pink to it. The midsummer color is going to get to more of kind of an emeraldy green shade, but then that new growth is really shrimp pink to bright red on top of that. Really gives it something in every single part of the season. Texture-wise, though, I think that's where this really stands out. There's some different color changes going on, but this texture really gives it something interesting. I know Eric compared the Goshiki Kotohime to coral, and this definitely has a little bit of that kind of under the sea vibe to it. You definitely could see this looking a little bit more like some coral reef.
We're standing here in some rows of these things that just seem to go on forever here at Don Schmidt Nursery. And seeing all these specimens of Kurenai jishi, being able to walk by them, being able to see these mature specimens out in the landscape, it's pretty amazing. But one can be a focal point planting. It can be a plant that can be used as a contrast planting. It can be put near the foundation of your home because it's a small dwarf.
We'd like for you to do a mass planting.
Yeah, do a mass planting. I mean, that's a great way to do it too. But this plant can be used in so many ways and fits in such small space because it's a dwarf compact, but it's also an upright, so it doesn't take up a lot of floor space on the ground. I mean, an excellent small dwarf Japanese maple that can go in your garden.
Yeah, obviously this one works great for bonsai for so many reasons. Also very popular for container gardening. There's so many great uses for this. I'd love to see a mass planting done just for the texture, like at Sarah P. Duke, where they put so many together of one thing. That would look incredible. Guys, definitely check out Kurenai jishi on MrMaple.com today. We had 10 new trees every single Tuesday at 10, so there's always something new coming to our website.
Guys, we also put out daily content on our YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed. And we also have a podcast weekly on your favorite podcast platform. So go subscribe to that as well. But the best way to support us is by shopping on MrMaple.com.
I'd like to say a very special thanks to Eric Schmidt of Don Schmidt Nursery for letting us film out here today. And we hope you enjoyed this. If we earned it, guys, definitely go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Take care.
God bless.
Have a great day.